What is good, Auburn family? This is your
What's
boy
up?
Ike Jones in the place with my man Mike G. Mike G, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just enjoying a Friday night here in Washington D.C. It's cold. It's cold up here. It's cold up here tonight.
Yeah, it's cold here, but it's not cold like it's cold there. So I
True
think
story.
we're supposed to dip down into like probably low 30s today. That's cold enough for me.
That's anarchy. That's anarchy, brother.
Yeah.
So, but you know
I, haven't-
what's? No, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I say I haven't checked the weather for game day. Hopefully, it's not going to be too cold on game day.
Forecasting rain this weekend, actually.
Mm,
So we'll see how that affects the game plan.
for sure.
With our quarterback possibly having to sling the ball around.
Right. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, man, what's up, man? We in here. We're going to talk about. Well, before we get into the conversation, let me make sure I get the formalities out of the way. Down there in the bottom of the screen, as you can see, the War Rapport. We are right there on Twitter and Instagram. You can also check us out on Facebook. Just look up the War Rapport, spelled just like it says right there. And you can find us. We're going to be dropping content on a regular basis. Make sure you chime in if we threw a couple polls up there. There's a poll out there right now about over under on points that you guys can chime in on right there on Facebook if you want to. But yeah, make sure you're following us on all social media, and we're going to continue to bring y'all this wonderful Auburn content. Anyway, as far as who we are, let me get this stuff right here out of the way. You can follow me on Instagram and or Twitter at GI the Artist. You can follow my man Mike right there at Mike Gittens on Twitter. And, we love to chop it up with y'all about this wonderful Auburn sports culture that we got going on right now. We were just talking before we came online. It's beautiful that the football team and the basketball team are relevant right now. So it's good to be like an Auburn sports fan right now.
Yeah, definitely. The job that Bruce Pearl is doing with our basketball team, something that we hope starts happening on the offensive side of the ball with our football team, but a lot of good player development that's happening there. So, exciting times in Auburn athletics for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. But we ain't talking about basketball tonight. We are talking about football, big matchup coming up this Saturday. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the guys on the second line, right? So everybody knows we have the best defensive line in college football this year, the absolute best. However, what people don't realize is we've got some awesome linebacker play that's been going on this year as well. So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit, man, and talk to us about the topic for tonight.
Oh man, listen, impossible to talk about Auburn's defense and Auburn's linebacker play without talking about the job that Travis Williams has done with this linebacker core since he has been promoted into a linebacker coach position here with us. Auburn. Travis played for Auburn in the early 2000s. We actually went to school with him. He was a pretty good linebacker. Played alongside Carlos Dansby and Dontarius Thomas. And some of those other monsters that we had. At linebacker, Antarius Williams. For a while in the early 2000s, Auburn put out a lot of quality linebackers. After about 2006, linebacker play started to fall off. Defense was no longer a signature of this team, at the end of the Tuberville area. And then, Will Muschamp came in and started to bring defense back, right? We got excited. We jumped up in the defensive rankings. And you're right. You said it at the top of the broadcast. Our D-line gets all the pub. They get all the credit. They get all the glory. They get all the shine. And kind of lost in that has been all the solid and consistent linebacker play that we've been getting out of these linebackers. And first and foremost, you have to credit the coaching. For as much as we kind of blame the coaching for some of the offensive woes, on the defense side of the ball, we've been seeing a lot of development. And, that's not just about Kevin Steele's system. That's about what the position coaches are doing under him. And I really feel like Travis Williams is a standout on this Auburn defensive coaching staff.
Yeah, he's been doing a wonderful job getting our guys geared up. I think one of the things that I like the most about this linebacker core, when you talk about the lean years on defense, we had really not great linebackers that didn't know how to be in position. And that's just the biggest thing with playing defense is just do your job. If you do your job and you trust the guy next to you to do their job, 9 times out of 10, that's going to work out well. Then it's just about, best man wins. But these guys are in position to make plays often. You talk about guys like KJ Britt. You talk about guys like the freshman Owen Papo. Their run fits are awesome. Like they are against the run, they're stout. They're where they're supposed to be, and that you have to credit the defensive line a lot with taking on blocks or making offenses have to scheme a way to double team and then try to get up to the next level. And, those guys up front are monsters. And so they're causing so much havoc. They're causing so much attention. Then it becomes a thing where the linebackers have to be in position to make plays. And they've been doing that a lot, especially in the run game.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, if you look back to game one, sans that first quarter where we kind of let Oregon do what they wanted to do. The D-line, the linebackers really stepped up to stop the run. I mean, they gave up nothing for 3 quarters after that, on a critical 4th and 1. It was really fun to see the linebackers kind of swarm to the ball to stuff Oregon's running back. They got up, crunk, excited, I thought that it was a real signal that, that this linebacker core that Travis has put together, and coached up, is going to be a regular thing here at Auburn, for years to come. So, coaching regimes change. I think Travis is going to be a real star in the coaching. We hope we keep it at Auburn for a really long time. But, truth be told, he's going to be, I just think he's going to develop into one of the better coaches in college football at that position. And then, what else is nice is to see us taking a 5-star talent like Owen and finally developing him into something immediately. True freshman gets the field and he's contributing. And, you're talking about somebody who's going to be all SEC next year, definitely.
Yeah, he's. I think the thing I like most about Owen Papo is he's got speed sideline to sideline. So he can make up for a misstep because that's going to happen as a freshman. You're gonna have opportunities where you're out of position, but he's got a lot of speed to be able to make up for that. And so he's really good at utilizing that speed. Hopefully he'll learn to, as he's starting to feel out the games and be more instinctive. He's going to guess right a lot more often. You're going to see him blowing plays up coming into soon. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to now. Now, a guy who is always bringing the lumber and blowing plays up, KJ Britt, man. When he arrives with bad intentions, and I like to see him come and step up into the hole. And when he's meeting running backs, that's not usually a good situation for the running back.
Yeah, listen, KJ Britt doesn't care about your couch, right? Let's be clear. He gives zero cares about your couch. And like you said, he's coming in with bad intentions every time. Alongside KJ, Nick Cole came in super heralded for everything he had done, preseason and in fall camp. It seemed like he had some issues there. He didn't play for non-football reasons there in the middle. He's officially listed at linebacker. They've been kind of playing him at DN, but he's another one of those players, on Travis's squad that's just really disruptive when he gets going. So I think it's going to be important for them. Stopping the run against Georgia is going to be super important, especially since the weather may not be great come Saturday. Airing the ball out may not be a priority for either team as they try to kind of protect it and not turn it over. So linebackers are going to come into play big time trying to fill those gaps and stop the run. DeAndre Swift is, as good as it's going to get in college football. So, they've got a good run game. We just have to kind of step up, and I think the linebackers are really going to play a big key in that. Yeah,
absolutely. Also, too, so I was looking up some statistics on Georgia, and of course they've got great defensive play, and it's not to be underscored how great their defense is. It's not about Georgia tonight, but I'm just saying that it's going to be a defensive battle, and it's going to be crucial, to limit plays from that could be 10-15 yard plays with the run to being negative or 1 or 2 yard plays, and that starts with your linebackers being in position. Of course, the defensive front is going to have to step up and, be disruptive in the backfield and make it uncomfortable for those plays. But those linebackers have to be in position, especially as, Georgia's doing a lot of the pulling stuff that they do. You just got to be in the right spots to fill and make sure you're not those cutback lanes are really where somebody like Swift specifically is that's where he feasts, is like being able to feel the flow, and then he's going to cut back against that. Those linebackers need to be in position to shut that down.
Yeah, we can't let them run the ball. Bottom line.
Yeah,
we can't let them control the clock. They're in our house. We just can't let them run the ball. Interesting stat. Auburn is top 20 against the run, allowing only 112 yards a game against the run. We're going up against a team that's top 3 against the run, and they're allowing something crazy like 82 yards a game against the run. So being able, we have to kind of assume they're going to be able to limit what we can do offensively, and so being able to match that and really limit what they do offensively, like I said, filling those holes and hitting those gaps, from a linebacker perspective, is going to be really important.
So what are the things that you feel like are, I know I have one thing specifically in mind myself, or things that you feel like our linebackers need to do better that they haven't done so well this year?
Well, you know what? They're really good tackling linebackers. They're great against the run. They swarm, they fly to the ball. They never seem really to be out of position, in our run defense. But pass defense in the middle of the field has definitely been a problem, and the linebackers, play, a key role in that. So, what I'll be looking for this Saturday is to see how Steele and Travis kind of adjust to Georgia trying to attack the middle of the field, 5, 6, 7 yards deep. If we're going to continue to play man, if there's going to be some zone involved in that, if he's going to drop those linebackers back into coverage to protect the middle of the field. Fromm's a good quarterback, and he knows where he's going to go with the ball most of the time, before he throws it, before he snaps the ball, and when a quarterback can think quick, and you're out of position, you're going to give up some big plays, and they've got playmakers. So, that's the one thing I think they can do a little better, is just, it's pass defense from a linebacker perspective.
Yeah, that's the exact thing that I was thinking. And I think our coordinators have done a good job of recognizing that and putting our guys in a better position post that Florida game when it was an issue in that game, of just saying, all right, we're not going to leave those guys out there on an island. We're going to put them in a position to be successful. And just let them be those downhill flow attack guys. You saw the adjustment against LSU, where it was just we're just going to squat on these short routes and make you guys try to throw it over the top, which benefited us for the majority of the game. It kept them, they were getting a lot of yardage, but they weren't getting those big plays. And it was a lot about making sure the linebackers were in position to do what they are good at, which is just go after the ball carrier. And make sure that they're not running the ball effectively. One thing I want to see us do a little bit better when we come to that linebacker play, though, is that pass coverage, or being able to make sure that we're limited. Because I expect to see a ton of, which Georgia doesn't do a lot, surprisingly, but I do expect to see more of the running backs involved in the passing game in this game. Because, like you said, weather's going to be out there being a factor, and you want to try to establish the short game so that you can throw it down the field. And I think they're going to have to try to throw some screens in there to do that. And that's going to be a huge responsibility of the linebackers as well. Even though Fromm is not the athletic kid, what's the kid's name that we just played against Ole Miss that was running all over the place like he was Johnny Manziel? You're not going to see that from Fromm this week, right? Like Fromm is good enough to, if you give him enough space, he can go pick up a first down. That's going to be important to just not let that be a theme, but he's not going to be the guy that's going to just destroy you with his legs. So the linebackers aren't going to have to be in the spy mode this week. They can be more on their toes and go get aggressive with it.
Well, just kind of piggybacking on that, right? What you're talking about is assignment football. Know your assignment and react quickly. And to your other point about Kevin Steele making adjustments, that's something that's been really refreshing to see this year is that, if they have kind of a tough first quarter, we always seem to kind of make adjustments post first quarter, at halftime, and they know what they're supposed to do, and part of the coaching staff's job is to get the players to be able, to react and know what their assignments are almost instinctually. So
Right.
they can play fast, and playing fast is going to be very important against, a guy like DeAndre Swift,
Right.
who will make a move, and you can't get caught out of position or he's taking it to the house. So assignment football, that's what we're looking for here. These guys have been doing a great job all year. Nobody's run wild on us this year, definitely. So I'm looking forward to, what, unfortunately, from the fan perspective, from the entertainment perspective, is going to be probably a defensive shootout. We put a poll up last night just about, over under on points, more than 21 points, under 21 points. I'm actually one of those that thinks that this game is going to be won like 18-15. Points are going to come at a premium in this one. You're talking about two great defenses with a lot of athletes on that are well coached on both sides of the ball. So,
right.
I'm calling this one under 21 for both teams.
Yeah, I agree that it's going to be a low scoring affair, especially if the weather's going to be a factor. It's going to if it gets messy out there, that actually works against us because we're a team built on speed. Right. And so you kind of have to slow down a little bit when it gets a little muddier out there on the field and a little messier. But it does help our defensive line be able to be out there and they want to mix it up in the mud or whatever. So it's going to help them. But again, it's our linebackers. They play a lot on instinct, and they're going to be trying to flow fast. And hopefully, if they got their assignments right, no problem. But yeah, if you guess wrong and you're out there on a slick field, it could be a problem. Really.
House call. Yo, tell me what you think about Big Cat Bryant, Isaac. This is a guy who was definitely heralded. He's a physical presence. He's an absolute monster. He's come up with some key plays this year. But overall, the tone has been sort of like disappointment around how he's developed. What's your thoughts on Big Cat?
Yeah, I definitely think Big Cat is a guy who I expected a little bit more of. He flashes, like you said, there are opportunities where you see him out there and he does something that's really good. And he definitely is an edge presence out there. But I expected to see him be more disruptive than he's been so far this year. Hopefully he has a breakout game this game where he's getting after the pass rusher, getting out there as a pass rusher and really, playing on the opposing team on the Georgia side of the line of scrimmage a lot more and really making it hard for if Georgia's trying to get around the edge, setting that edge really well, or keeping Jake Fromm in the pocket. So he's having to deal with the likes of Derek Brown or blitzing Owen Papo. They bring Owen Papo on the blitz a lot on pass blitzes. So, and he's been really great at getting home with blitzes as well. He's been doing really great with pressure. So hopefully that'll be what Big Cat Bryant can be able to provide for us this game. Is just that edge presence to keep everything contained and let those guys in the middle do the dirty work.
Big Cat reminds me, when we're talking about assignment football, when you roll the tape back on him, he really gives off the air of a player who is thinking about what he's supposed to do rather than just doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Slowing him down. It's slowing him down a step, So I'm hoping, that with a bye week, coming into this game that, everybody understands their assignments and he can play fast. I think when he's playing fast and he's flying to the ball, he's really hard to stop. My mind goes back to that Oregon game on that near scoop and score. And he ran 98 yards and ran out of gas at the 3-yard line. It was brutal to watch. And I was like, get in, Big Cat. And that was significant because we ended up not scoring on that drive.
Right.
But we definitely did stop them from scoring. And if you watch him on that play for a big guy, to see the ball react, have the presence of mind to scoop it, right? We see a lot of linebackers blow that. They try to scoop without just securing the ball, and then an offensive lineman comes back in and dives at their feet and ends up recovering it, right? Which would have been a disaster for us in that game. So, he showed his awareness was great on that play. He just picked it up and he ran it all the way back. Unfortunately, the big man ran out of gas there at the end. But, I'm just looking forward to seeing him play fast. He's going to be one of those players that I hope makes it 4 years at Auburn.
Yeah, he's got a ton of athleticism. I love the athleticism he brings on the edge. He jumps off sides a little too much for me though, like because I think he's trying to like anticipate snaps and stuff like that. He kind of gets, and I think that goes back to him being in his head a little bit. It's like he's not just playing; he's out there trying to like outthink people. And it's like, dude, just you don't have to make the amazing play every time. And I think that's part of his issue is he wants to. He's one of those guys where it's like he's either going to hit a home run or he's going to strike out. And so he's swinging for the fences every single time out there. I love his effort. I just want him to relax and let the game come to him a little bit more. And I think he'll do a great job once he does that.
Yeah, behind him, you've got TD Moultrie.
Yeah.
And
another guy who jumps off sides a lot.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, the offside penalties are killing me this year, right?
Yeah.
But you've got TD Moultrie behind him. You've got Zacoby McClain, and you've got Chandler Wooten. And
Chandler Wooten was really good. The young kid, I like Chandler Wooten, man. I think he's going to be good for us next year.
Credit again to Steele and Travis. All these guys have seen significant time this year. And we don't really see a fall off when the backups come into the game at linebacker.
Right.
Everybody still knows their assignments. Everybody's still flying to the ball. Everybody's still making plays. So that was notable to me as well about our linebacker play is it just seems like there's not a huge gap between those first and second spots on the depth chart. And these guys are coming out, and it doesn't matter. It's next man up. It doesn't matter who's in the game. They're making plays. Right. So, again, I don't think we're going to be able to keep Owen all 4 years. I think he's, a top 30 draft pick in a couple of years. Yeah. But, it is encouraging to see not only that we are playing well, but that we actually have depth at that position. And I really think that's been kind of a mark of the Kevin Steele defense on at linebacker and at defensive line is they play a ton of guys.
Yeah.
They rotate a ton of guys. So everybody has seen big game action and, we can sub in and sub out without worrying about them attacking spots where we subbed.
Right.
Because the guy right behind them has got nasty intentions too.
Yeah. I think Wooten, I think next year will be his last year. So I'm looking for him to have a really great breakout season as a senior. Zacoby McClain's just a sophomore, so he's got a lot of growing that he can do into that position. He's played well. One of the things, you don't see it flash on the stat sheet, but one of the things that I don't see when kids like McClain and Wooten are in the game are you don't hear their name being called out for negative stuff. And that's always good when your backup guy can come in and you don't immediately just see, like you said, that letdown where it's like, okay, yeah, because they had the other kid in there and not the starter. It's really just like somebody else out there making a play, being where they're supposed to be. And I love to see that.
Yeah, there's definitely not a letdown. We have traditionally, like I said, in the early 2000s, put out, linebackers that play that way. Probably my favorite linebacker of the last 20 years is Carlos Dansby. He was a guy, who was, going into the NFL, they thought he was too small to play linebacker. He was just a smart guy. He was a football guy. He had a good football mind. His football IQ was through the roof. And, he proved his doubters wrong and had a long, successful career in the NFL. And what I see is a lot of kids coming up now that fit that mold of a Carlos Dansby, right? These guys are high football IQ, high motor, and they're really going to help us over these next 3 weeks because these are some dangerous offenses that we're facing with a lot of talent. So Georgia is the next team up. I won't mention the other two schools until it's time for us to play them.
Right.
Coming here Saturday in the rain, Isaac, it's going to be a defensive slugfest.
I'm looking for a hard-hitting affair. Yeah, I was saying I'm looking for a hard-hitting affair, and like you're about to say, our defense is going to have to hold their own, and it's going to be who blinks first, basically. Right. Like I said, those linebackers are going to be a key portion to making sure that we're doing what we need to do.
They've been very opportunistic as well, and that can't go understated, right? So the opportunistic forced fumble, you scoop and score, like a batted down pass. I mean, they've got very active hands, I'm going to be, I think that's going to be one of the keys to this game, right? It's kind of cliche to say winning the turnover battle is going to be a key to the game. But that has been kind of a mark of our season on defense is that,
Sure.
Right when our offense has kind of put us up against it, couple 3 and outs, losing the field position battle. These linebackers and this defense seem to come up with a key turnover just in the nick of time to kind of pull us out. Right. So I'll be looking for that Saturday, definitely from the linebacker spot. Again, kind of going back to our D line, they're gonna wreak havoc, and they're gonna create the opportunity for some recovered turnovers. And the linebackers kind of coming in and being where they're supposed to be and playing assignment football and being aware is going to be real key in recovering some of those turnovers and maybe giving this offense a short field,
right,
so that we can score some points.
Yeah, and that's really what it's going to be about, field position. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, is making sure that we're maintaining in the field position battle. And if we can do that, I like our chances. Keep it close, keep the field position in our favor, and then go out there and maybe force a couple of turnovers and make this a good Saturday for Auburn football.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to it. Definitely.
Yeah, man. So, all right. Well, that's all we got for today. As always, like I said before, you can definitely continue to follow us on all social media. We are the War Rapport. We are out there on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can just type it in and follow us out there. Any final thoughts, any final words you want to kick to the people, man?
Like I said, Saturday is going to be stressful for a lot of us.
For sure.
It's going to be a stressful day for a lot of us. We got the CBS 3:30 kickoff, and it's going to be a chess match on defense for both coordinators. So Auburn linebacker play is going to be a key to this. I'm also thinking that it'd be nice to see a contribution from an unexpected player and all this. Zacoby McClain comes to mind particularly. I think they're going to have to play a lot of players in this game to keep the defense fresh in the fourth quarter and a defensive battle. Our offense has consistently put us kind of like behind the chains and behind in the field position battle. Keeping guys fresh and being deep on at linebacker is going to be key. For sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. For those of you who don't know, we're about to get out of here, but we will be doing a quick pregame thing, 10:30 Central Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern. We'll be right back here on Facebook and YouTube live doing the pregame show with the whole crew. That's me, that's Mike G, that's my man Caesar, that's B Will. Everybody will be here. So you guys make sure that you tune in and catch us during that live stream as we're coming up on the big showdown, the Deep South's oldest rivalry, Auburn against the Leg Humpers. Shout out Caesar on that one. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, man, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And as always, War Eagle. War Eagle.